Hey guys, I'm back today with a new Minecraft video, and today I'll be showing off the first snapshot for week 21 of 2012. Quite a few extra changes this week. I might include a few from last week. I haven't done as many. I was planning on doing, or not last week, week before. I was hoping to do a multiplayer one to show off the new multiplayer methods and how it works, but I had problems hosting a multiplayer server that I could run from single player and have a friend connect to. The same happened the other way around, so we didn't do it. But we have a new snapshot. Last week there wasn't one because of some sort of Swedish holiday. So here we are with the snapshot. Now, first off, because it'll probably stop being night eventually, you can see that the stars are much fancier. They're smaller, brighter, and they sparkle, which is pretty cool. Not like vampires, but that's cool. Makes it feel more realistic. I'm derpy and wasn't running the latest version for this recording. The feature that I didn't show off because I didn't have an actual copy of it is this new creative inventory, which I've basically been asking for in every episode of almost anything I've recorded. So here we are with a properly sorted creative inventory. You can access just a survival inventory, and you can also simply type chest, all of the names of blocks that you want to use, or simply select the category. So enjoy the episode. Next we have these very wonderful sandstone villages. As you can see, the path, instead of being gravel, is sandstone, while the rest of the area is regular sand. The only weird thing is some houses still have dirt flooring, and under that is sand. So, no idea what's going on there. They'll probably fix that, but it's fancy when it's full sandstone. I guess that's a nice lead-in to the new sandstone steps, which you can find here in the creative inventory. What you may also notice from a couple weeks ago is now the different kinds of sandstone, different kind of stone bricks, different kind of planks, different kinds of slabs, all have names that change depending on what kind they are, which is nice. However, the pressure plates don't, which I guess would make sense, but hasn't happened. Next, we have a new ore. Now, apparently Jeb didn't save the correct ore type, or the texture. So it's red, it's supposed to be green, me being my derpy self because I was running the wrong preview. This is what the ore should look like. And it's emerald ore. When you break it, you get these nice green emeralds. Now, these emeralds are very important when it comes to discussing things with villagers, because you can now right-click on them and trade with them. So if I put an emerald in, I get 10 cookies. So that's from this villager. Each villager only gives the same thing. If I don't know if there's a limit to how many of that item they hold. This one seems to have a lot of cookies. But of course, depending on what villager you go to, it's my house, you will get... Where are all the villagers? Is he the only guy here? It seems so. What a loader. Unless they're all in there. I think that's the same guy. Oh. Yeah, everyone's chilling in this guy's house. It must have been a party and the other guy was left out. So let's... Oh, crud. Let's grab those emeralds again. So with some of them, instead of emerald to coal, in this case, if I had 23 coal, I don't know where he went, but or if I had 17 raw chicken, I could give it to this villager over here and get an emerald that I could then use to trade with another one to get something I need, like cooked chicken, which is interesting. I'll let you guys... Wait, I heard a pressure... Oh, he's walking on it. And next we have a new chest. You might have seen these as I was walking past earlier. These are called ender chests. Now, I believe you use an eye of ender and obsidian. Stick them in a crafting bench, like so. Surround the eye of ender with obsidian, and ta-da, you have an ender chest. Now these are really, really awesome. So you saw me grab items from this one earlier. Or, yeah, I grabbed the emeralds. Now, this chest has a lot of items in it, okay? Now, say I lost the chest. The items didn't drop, and that's because they are now basically in, as Captain Sparkles said it, which I think is the best way of saying it, in the cloud. It's basically cloud storage in your Minecraft, which is very cool. You can have as many chests as you like, and they'll all have the same thing. The only issue with this at the moment is in multiplayer servers, the ender chests all have the same items for everyone, which hopefully will change, and then instead of here just saying ender chest, it could put a hyphen and then say whose it is, or, you know, depending on your player name, it shows a different name next to the ender chest title. Who knows? I think they're very fancy. They don't make any noise, which is interesting because they have the portal particle effect. Sorry. Next we have this, in my opinion, quite ugly change to gravel. So gravel no longer looks like its old self, but like this more packed, built kind of gravel rather than the random, I suppose, layout of the old one, which was basically like the sand texture. I liked it. There are people who didn't, but that's up to them. Next, buckets are now stackable, as you can see. They stack up to 16. 8 is half of them. And the cool thing is, if you have a stack of them and you walk up to water, when you go to fill one, that's a bad way of showing it. When you fill it, wait, did I actually pick up that water, I think? What happened there? Okay, I don't know what's happening. When you do this, it should... Hang on, let me try something. Game mode 0. Ah, there we go. Each time you use a bucket, it fills a bucket of water in your inventory. So you no longer waste space with empty buckets. You can stack them, and then you don't have to worry about accidentally merging them all into one when you try collecting water later on. Now, seeing as I'm using quite a few commands, I'm going to show you a new one, which is /seed, and that just gives you the seed of the world. Now, don't bother trying to go to my one, which you can see on the screen, because I spent about 15 minutes flying in random directions to find this place, and you know, it's actually a pretty basic village too. Next, a great enhancement to, I suppose, Lilypads, but you could say it's a boat enhancement. When you're in a boat, that's not right. That's not supposed to happen. What? Why did that happen? Basically, when you're in a boat... Oh, maybe because I'm flying? No. Now when you're in a boat, you can simply swim on Lilypads. And as you can see, for some reason, and Captain Sparkles pointed this out in his video, when you turn, it's very jittery. It's not smooth like it used to be. It's painful, I suppose, is the word to put it, word to describe it. Not fun, but of course you can one-hit brake, which is a great addition. What else do we have? Well, you've seen this village, so I guess next is something I think everyone will enjoy. They're pretty cool. And I'm just going to fly over here. Now, there used to be a mountain in front of it, and I had to kind of level that out so that you could see the front of the building properly. So I apologize if it looks a bit dodgy, like this area here and the border around there. I just needed a way to show off the building, and that is a pyramid. Now, these generate randomly, as other buildings are randomly generated. So if you have structures turned off, of course, these will not generate. Now, two things about these. Firstly, this is the first time I've seen wool that was actually pre-generated in a structure. Villages, sure, you get glass, you get wood, and now sandstone, but nothing like this, where you actually have wool decorations like this, which is very fancy. But also, and I'm going to show you this now, down here is where you can find treasure. So I'm just going to take apart this roof. However, you have to be very careful, because in the middle, what you see there is a stone pressure plate, and under that, a lot of TNT. 9 blocks, in fact. So this is what I mean by another new thing. I've never seen TNT in, you know, vanilla Minecraft, as it were, that comes in a pre-generated structure. Now, once you get down here, if you get down here safely, you see these 4 chests, and inside them are treasures and, you know, disgusting remains of, obviously, people long dead. Ooh, diamonds. I'll take the iron. The rest is just junk. Now, the other thing I wanted to really point out, and that's why I've got the TNT and the torch. I'm just gonna try this. No? Okay. What I have noticed, and I'm gonna turn my volume up, the hissing sound when you actually set TNT off, I think, has been modified. I'm gonna try this, see if it's loud enough. That sounds slightly different to me, but I'm not sure whether it does sound different to you guys. When I was blowing up the mountain in front of the place, it seemed a little different to me. Now, as you can see, those 9 TNT blocks do quite a bit of damage. You wouldn't want to fall down, because firstly, as you can see, I don't see any bones. I don't see anything else like the rotten flesh that was in the chest, so clearly, you know, the TNT does basically destroy all the items that came in the treasure chests, so you won't want to let that happen. Now, I'm not sure about this weird thing here, what it's supposed to be. But it seems to just come from one of the towers. Whatever the case. There are a few bugs, of course, because this is still a multiplayer version. However, in this snapshot, instead of requiring a separate Minecraft server jar, you don't need it anymore. I think they brought that in very recently. You don't need it anymore, but when you do try connecting to a single player world, it does ask for it. Obviously, that's a bug that they're planning on fixing. But it's good that, you know, you won't have to have two separate jars running at the same time. Keep it all in one, I say. Now, another weird thing I found about this village is the fact that it has a couple dungeons with... See this floating sand right here? Now, I know this is probably a simple world generation bug, and I've seen a couple world generation bugs with lighting and that sort of thing a lot in recent snapshots. But under this sand is a dungeon with a chest that has cocoa beans. Actually, I might show off cocoa beans, which I didn't do in the snapshot that I didn't actually record. And of course, if I do this, all of the sand falls as if it was there. But what I think happened is there's supposed to be a roof. And without the roof, the sand seemingly collapsed on one side, but didn't on the other. And it just took me to come in and get rid of it, I suppose. I saw another one over here. Don't know if there's anything here. I'm guessing the spawner is right here because the sand was one block higher. Whatever the case, I find it interesting. I think it's the lack of roof that's causing it. Next, a feature I think a lot of people will really like, and that is that dispensers with water buckets or lava buckets will now actually dispense the liquids. So if I push the button, as you can see, it's being dispensed. The bucket is still in there. So if I push the button again, no more water, and the water is back in the bucket. This applies to both water and lava, and I personally think it's a good idea that it's a toggle, because then, as you saw me using the button, it makes more sense for something like this, and it collects anything in front of the dispenser. So if I grab one of my empty buckets, then I place some sandstone here. It does collect it from any kind of source block, so if I... oh, crud. If I grab another empty bucket, fill it with water... ah, I'm in creative, aren't I? I'm going to go into survival. I forget that I'm in survival and try flying. As long as there's a source block in front of it, regardless of whether it came out of the dispenser will still collect it when you actually push the button. Now if you actually watch the animation, when you push the button, it does try to dispense. So that's that in a nutshell. Now, another thing you might have seen in here are these golden apples. Now you can see this one isn't glowing and this one is. Now there's a big difference between these two. I'm just going to put them next to each other in my inventory. I'm going to put a block of gold here. Now, there are basically two kinds of golden apples. The old one, which is now this bright aqua, I suppose, for the name, and of course there's the purple one. Now, to make this one, all you gotta do is have gold nuggets, put an apple in the middle. This gives you the normal gold apple, but if you want a nice fancy golden apple, then you're gonna need a lot more stuff. You're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 golden blocks to make it. It's a lot of gold. But seeing as there is no real use for gold, this is awesome. And I guess that leads into the actual uses or the differences between the two. Of course, the regular golden apple, I'm going to eat it now. And of course it just gives you regeneration for a few seconds and the bouncing of the hearts. And of course heals you. And, you know, raises your hunger. Now, there's a big difference between that apple and this golden apple, and that is when I eat this. You can see I have no potions or anything. I'm going to eat this. I have regeneration 4 for 30 seconds, resistance and fire resistance for 5 minutes each. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab creative. I'm going to pull out that bucket of lava, and then I'm going to switch back to survival. Now I'm guessing this will either kill me or the fire regeneration, the fire resistance will mean I don't die. I suppose the fact that I'm in peaceful also helps. Let's see. No. So yeah, you get that from a single apple that requires 9 blocks of gold. Good luck with that. Let's see, what else is there? I'm just going to escape from there, because that's starting to be dodgy. I'm going to switch back to peaceful as well. There are a lot of bugs. There's also some other feature which I couldn't figure out, because I didn't bother playing with it. While sitting inside a minecart, pushing the forward key will make it move the direction you are facing. I'm guessing this might have something to do with rails being, you know, interconnected, and then if you specifically want to go in a specific direction when you reach an intersection or something, it, you know, follows that. I don't know, I haven't tried. It's, I suppose, the only thing in my list that I haven't tried. The other thing is the menu for the options is much cleaner. Personally, I don't see much of a difference, but that's that for you. What else do we have? Villages change style according to their biome. Now, I haven't been able to see any other kinds of villages. Maybe there are slightly different ones in the jungle. I don't know. I haven't seen any. You know, I don't even know if there are any in the jungle. But that's, I suppose, it from me. I was going to look into cocoa beans, wasn't I? Actually, I'll steal the cocoa beans out of this chest. And I'm not going to try going into a jungle because all you need is a jungle log. A feature from a couple weeks ago which I didn't get to show you guys. These plants, cocoa bean plants, you can now actually grow them, which is useful. And of course I'm going to bone meal them. They have 3 states. This one when they've just sprouted, I suppose. That when they're halfway through, and of course bigger ones. Just gonna grab a... oh, there we go. I didn't even have to grab bone meal. Those are the 3 states. Very fancy. And then of course when you break them you get the cocoa beans. Of course I'm in creative so I won't. But those I think will be interesting farms. I haven't actually tried playing around with how they react to water and that. Suppose they collapse into beans as they should, which is nice. So if you plan on making cocoa bean plants, you can make them automatic underground. You could do something like, I'm going to grab jungle log here, and then you get the idea. I could have them lined up like this, put them along here, and then when they're ready to be collected, you know, simple, something simple like that. So that's all from me for today. Be sure to check the links in the description about where you can read more of the snapshot. You can download the snapshot yourself to play around with it at mojang.com. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. I have a little unhappy surprise coming up in my newest Evil Minecraft episode. So stay tuned for that. That's all from me. Thanks for watching.